I'd like to welcome you to episode 8 of our Take 5 series, season 3. My name is Busi Ncube. I am the Women's Ministries Director at the Chisipite Seventh-day Adventist Church. Today, we would like to look at a chapter in David's life where finally somebody got him so angry he was ready to go out there and annihilate an entire family. This story is found in the Bible, in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25, from verse 21 to 22. In this story, David had provided assistance to the shepherds that belonged to a very wealthy man whose name was Nabal. And later, David and his men, because remember he was still running away from Saul, had run out of food. And so David, thinking, well, since I helped Nabal and protected his sheep from thieves, I am sure that he can or he will return the favor. And so he sends young men to go and ask for some food from Nabal. And what we find is that Nabal, on hearing that these young men have been sent by David, he says, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? I mean, this is just some nobody. So why should I help them? And he actually says, why should I help a fugitive who is running away from his superior? In other words, Nabal just did not care about David at all, regardless of all the help that David had given him. And so his young men, David's young men, then return to him and they tell him as it is. They tell him the insult that Nabal hurled at them. And they actually say basically that Nabal said, look, David is a nobody and I won't have anything to do with him. The Bible tells us that David was so angry. And he says to his young men, arm yourselves, take your sword, and let us go and teach Nabal a lesson. This is the same David who, in previous episodes, has been refusing to return evil for evil. And yet now we find that he has been pushed to the limits and he says, enough is enough. I know for sure that in our families too, there are those instances where you yourself have been pushed to that point where you say, I am tired of being abused, I am tired of being looked down upon, I am tired of being taken advantage of being falsely accused. Today it ends here. Oftentimes we hear people saying, enough is enough. You have insulted me all this while and I have been quiet. But this is the day that I choose to show you my true colors, as human beings often like to say. But again, let us stop and look at what happened in this experience. So fortunately for Nabal, one of the servants had actually overheard the conversation between Nabal and the men that had been sent by David, and went and told Nabal's wife, Abigail. So Abigail, recognizing the imminent danger that is about to befall them, decides to take matters into her own hands. And she takes some food and takes a few servants and goes out to meet David. And when she gets there, she humbles herself and uses diplomacy to persuade David not to pursue this plan of destroying Nabal. She says to David, this is going to cause you to tarnish your good name. And are you sure you want to waste your energy and tarnish your name over a simple fool such as Nabal? Thankfully, David chooses to heed Abigail's advice, and great danger is averted. And Abigail herself becomes the one that redeems her family from sure death at the hands of David. So what are the lessons that we can learn from this experience that we can apply in our own lives when we get to that point where we have been pushed beyond what we can bear? and where we are ready to really now choose to tap into the animal that is within us and deal with our enemies decisively. Because remember, sometimes we don't retaliate because we are powerless. We don't retaliate because we choose to do the right thing. But as I have mentioned earlier, there will be those instances where you finally decide that now I am going to take matters into my own hands. But what are the lessons that we can learn from this experience? The first lesson is that situations will happen that will drive you mad. Sometimes, or so many times, I've heard Christians say, it's unchristian. Why are you behaving this way? Let me tell you, Christians are human beings too. And so in my book, it's absolutely okay for you to get angry. It's absolutely okay for you to be irate to that point where you want to retaliate. But even when those instances come, do not react. Take time to reflect and to respond. Don't be driven by your emotions to do things that you will regret tomorrow. Lesson number 2. Sometimes the people that you help and the people that you expect favors from as a result of how you have dealt with them in the past will be your source of greatest disappointment. That nephew that you sent to school now refuses to accommodate your child in South Africa or in another country who needs his help. Expect that of human beings. And don't be too disappointed when the person that you have helped in the past decides to rubbish your contribution and actually even pretend that they never knew you at all. Anticipate those seasons and those experiences because they will come. Life is full of Nabals. Nabals who will bite the hand that has fed them all this while, and the hand that is the reason of their existence up to this day. The third and final lesson is that it is important to learn to heed good counsel. And sometimes this good, wise counsel will come from the most unexpected of sources. But have the wisdom and pray for the wisdom to know that this is good counsel and it is coming to help me, to make me a better person, to help me avert getting myself into further problems. And so even in your anger, be wise enough to listen to those who are persuading you to take a different path. Don't be too fixated with the solution that you have determined is the only solution for dealing with the problems that you are experiencing. Be wise enough to take that counsel, accept it, because it is there to help you to overcome this difficult situation that you find yourself in today.
Take 5 is a show produced by the Chizipiti Church, a fountain of love, and is made possible by support from many partners. If you wish to follow more of our studies on these and many other subjects, please connect with us on the Chizipiti SDA Church on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Like our platforms and share with us your comments. We also have our plug-in team ready to pray with you and encourage you through life's challenges. So please connect with us and would love to pray with you. We can't wait to hear from you. And remember, when life seems to drown you, just take a moment, take a break, and take 5 to reflect.
May the good Lord continue to bless us as we do life during these COVID times. And may He be our source of strength and encouragement as we navigate the difficult seasons in our families.